Rift 3.4 is launched, Bethesda is concerned about BattleCry, all that and more. I'm Zach Sharps, and this is Free to Play Weekly. First up in the news this week, Tron Worlds decided to throw Rift players more content by finally releasing patch 3.4 into the wilds. This content update features a brand new zone, new quests, more puzzles, and a new calling. What is this new calling, you might ask? Well, Tron has introduced the Primalist to the game, which focuses the elements to tank, heal, or DPS. Overall, this patch is loaded with content, pretty much the usual when it comes to Tron Worlds and Rift. On the other hand, Tron was recently caught raising some prices, making the excuse of currency rates. However, our own Jason Winter found the prices were raised much higher than that of a recent currency rate change. One step forward and another step back for Tryon. Webzen's Asian fantasy MMORPG ASTA, The War of Tears and Winds, has its first beta test coming up this November. Starting November the 3rd, all players with a Webzen account will be able to check out the game for around a full month, which is a good bit of time. During the beta, players will be able to try out character creation, the game's talent trees, dungeons, PvP battlegrounds, a varied crafting system, guild battles, and a whole lot more. That being said, if you hate repetition like myself, don't go too crazy because the beta progress will be wiped. ASTA is currently something I'm going to be checking out soon, not something that I think will be amazing, but at least something to spend a little bit of time here and there, kinda like how I did with Echo of Soul. It is never good when your parent company questions your game's direction, and that's exactly what happened recently with BattleCry, the arena battler currently in development by Bethesda software subsidiary BattleCry Studios. In a recent interview with Progress Bar, a Bethesda spokesperson talked about BattleCry in less than glowing terms. "We have concerns about the BattleCry game and whether it is meeting the objectives we have for it. We're evaluating what improvements the game needs to meet our quality standards. The game's studio remains busy during the process on multiple projects." I could be wrong, but that's not a good sign regarding the game's future. Maybe Bethesda's getting cold feet regarding entering what soon will become an oversaturated market of arena battlers. That said, it's time for the question of the week. Last week on the show, I asked, have you ever felt ripped off when a free-to-play title lost support? A user by the name of NinetaleFox1983 stated the following: "Black Gold Online had so much promise, but it seemed the title was abandoned quickly after it launched. Sad really, because I really liked the ideas it had going for it. Was a total waste of time if you asked me." As always guys, if you want your comment possibly featured in next week's episode, make sure to leave a comment down below. This week's question is, with Bethesda concerned about BattleCry, what are your thoughts on the team-based arena shooter/brawler genre as a whole? Is it too saturated already, or is there more room to grow, and why? Personally, I think it's on the verge of becoming too saturated, but could have a bit more room to grow if the right company has the right idea. What do you guys think? BioWare's upcoming expansion for its hit freemium MMORPG Star Wars The Old Republic called Knights of the Fallen Empire will be bringing quite a few changes to the way combat and other items are handled. One of the bigger announcements was regarding a new level sync feature which will tweak your level to the appropriate level per zone. This feature is supposed to allow friends to progress with each other, but I find it odd that my Sith Lord will now struggle against a Padawan just because I went back to a lower level area. On the combat side of things, strength, willpower, cunning, and aim have all been replaced by a single stat called Mastery. Surge has been completely removed as a stat, and Endurance will provide slightly more HP per point than it did previously. There's a good bit of other changes that will come with Knights of the Fallen Empire as well, and I'm pretty hyped to hop back into the game once it's out. My Sith Sorcerer must utilize the shock option much more. Last up in the news this week, Sol, Goddess of the Sun, has become the latest combatant to be added to the roster in Hi-Rez Studios' free-to-play MOBA Smite. Sol is a god that focuses on keeping high amounts of heat to increase effectiveness of her abilities. Popping in and out of an incorporeal form is the key to being able to play Sol effectively. As someone that dabbles with Smite from time to time, Sol does seem like a pretty interesting god that would be fun to play. Alongside Sol though, Hi-Rez is also also included some improvements to the tutorial, Halloween skins for characters and arenas, with some balancing changes to top all that off. What is your favorite Smite god? Well guys, that does it for this week's news. Was glad to hear of new details pertaining to SWTOR's new expansion. As you guys know, I'm a fanboy of SWTOR. I know that's not a good thing to a lot of you, but hey, it's what I prefer. And it's good to see Rift and Smite getting some new content as well. That said guys, signing out until next week's Free to Play Weekly, I'm Zach Sharps and I'll catch you guys next time.